Welcome to Map Your Mind. Travel through the world with your brain. Alright, grab your curiosity and let's take a journey to Botswana land that's not just a place on the map, but a country with a heart full of history, resilience, and some seriously fascinating stories. Situated right in the heart of southern Africa, Botswana is a land of contrasts, sweeping deserts, lush wetlands, and a culture that's deeply connected to its roots. But what makes Botswana truly stand out is its ability to thrive against all odds. Let's get into it. The early days, a land of ancient roots. Before the world had maps and borders, Botswana was home to diverse groups of indigenous people, including the San Bushmen, the earliest inhabitants of the region. These skilled hunter-gatherers survived in one of the most unforgiving environments on Earth, the Kalahari Desert. For centuries, they created a culture based on survival, spiritual beliefs, and intricate rock art that still dots the desert landscape today. As time marched on, the area saw the rise of other African kingdoms, like the powerful Tswana people, who created organized chiefdoms. These Tswana societies were built around a blend of tradition, farming, and trade, forming a strong foundation for what would later become modern Botswana. Colonization. The British and the Protectorate. The story of Botswana's colonial era is a bit different from many African nations. Unlike its neighbors, which were fully colonized by European powers, Botswana, then called the British Protectorate of Bechuanaland, never saw the same level of settlement or exploitation. In the late 19th century, Britain established a protectorate over the land, largely to prevent it from falling under the control of its rivals, like the Boers of South Africa. But the protectorate wasn't a full-on colony. The British didn't attempt to reshape Botswana as they did other territories, at least not to the same extent. Instead, the Tswana people were allowed to keep much of their local governance and customs. That relative autonomy played a key role in Botswana's later success as an independent nation. Independence, a quiet revolution. In the 20th century, the winds of change began to blow across Africa. Many African nations were fighting for independence from colonial rule. Botswana was no exception, but its journey to freedom was marked by cautious optimism rather than full-on rebellion. In the 1960s, Botswana's political climate began to shift. The British were preparing to let go of their protectorates, and Botswana was on the brink of independence. The people of Botswana were fortunate to have leaders who prioritized unity, stability, and careful negotiations over conflict. In 1966, Botswana became an independent republic, with Seretse Khama, a key figure in the independence movement, becoming its first president. Khama's leadership would set the tone for the country's future. Peaceful, democratic, and focused on development. A peaceful path, democracy, and prosperity. Unlike many of its neighbors, Botswana avoided the civil wars and political turmoil that plagued much of Africa in the post-independence period. The country's leadership emphasized democracy, human rights, and a respect for the rule of law. It also had a rich tradition of free speech and multi-party elections that set Botswana apart as one of the most stable democracies in Africa. One of the major factors in Botswana's success was its wealth of natural resources, particularly diamonds. In the 1970s, the country discovered some of the richest diamond deposits in the world. The government struck a deal with the De Beers Company, forming a partnership that allowed Botswana to use its newfound wealth to fund infrastructure projects, healthcare, education, and economic development. As a result, Botswana saw one of the highest growth rates in Africa during the 1980s and 1990s. It went from being one of the poorest countries on the continent to one of the wealthiest in just a few decades. In fact, Botswana's story is often cited as one of Africa's greatest success stories. Challenges and triumphs. The modern era. Of course, no nation's path is entirely smooth. Botswana has faced its share of challenges. In recent years, the country has had to grapple with issues like the HIV/AIDS epidemic, climate change, and the need for economic diversification beyond diamonds. But despite these obstacles, Botswana remains a shining example of resilience. Today, Botswana is known for its progressive policies, its commitment to wildlife conservation, and its active role in African and global diplomacy. The country is also recognized for its commitment to human rights and gender equality, with a significant focus on uplifting the voices of women and indigenous communities. Fun fact, did you know that Botswana is home to one of the world's largest salt pans? The Makadikidi pan? It's so massive that it can be seen from space. During the rainy season, the pan transforms into a beautiful oasis, filled with flamingos and other wildlife, making it one of the most breathtaking natural wonders on Earth. So, the next time you think of Botswana, don't just think of diamonds and desserts. Think of the people who built a peaceful, thriving country from the ground up. Think of a land where tradition meets modernity in perfect harmony. And think of a place where resilience, democracy, and hope continue to shine bright on the African continent. Stick around, there's more to uncover right here on Map Your Mind.